This is absolutely your trigger warning. Child loss, BLOOD, as well as self-unaliving, trigger warning, okay? This is extreme. Ask Reddit, what's the creepiest, unexplainable thing you've experienced that made you believe in the paranormal? Back in the late 1990s, I used to supervise a crew doing trauma scene work. We would go into buildings after homicide, suicide, unattended deaths, accidental deaths, fire death, or pretty much anything messed up that could happen inside a building, home, or an office. The following story happened on one of those scenes. I have a few others that have really stuck with me, but this one was probably more the works of evil spirits rather than the others were just sad. We often got dispatched out sometimes with little details, only like vehicle damage to structure with fatality, or fire damage structure with multiple fatalities. Sometimes it was very vague, like death inside home. We were dispatched to a single-family house in the outskirts of Los Angeles, a working-class neighborhood with homes built probably in the early 1950s. Not a bad, run-down section, but just an area where families lived quiet, unassuming lives. We arrived to the site. It was a ranch-style home with a sweeping driveway to the street. The garage door was open, and an older lady was sitting inside the garage smoking a cigarette. I walked up to her and introduced myself and said, "I'm sorry for your loss. We're here to help you clean up and do whatever we can to assist." I can tell she is nervous, but in most of these situations, we run into people crying, in shock, or just stone quiet and unable to speak. Most of the time, they have had someone there to help them, like a family friend, family member, or a neighbor. However, she was all alone. She looked very uneasy, and I can see that she has a sofa, TV on a stand, and clothes piled up in her garage. I asked her if she would like to show me the area where the incident occurred. She said to me, "I'm not going back into that house." She then points to a front bedroom window and said, "That is the room." I did not know what happened there. As usual, I wasn't given much details. Not that I needed to know, but sometimes it helped knowing if we were dealing with a schmurder, suicide, or a child unaliving. I start to ask her if there was anything in that room that might be affected that she would like for us to save or secure for her. She said she didn't care about anything in that house and she was not going back inside. I was just thinking to myself, this is sometimes pretty typical. No one likes to go back inside where loved ones were lost. She starts to tell me a story that made the hair on the back of my neck stand up. She said that her son unalived himself in that room. She said that there were evil spirits in that house. I just said, "I'm sorry." And she said, "No, you don't understand." She said that a year ago, her other son unalived himself inside the house too. The demons attacked him and took him too. She also said that a few years before that, her husband unalived himself in the house as well. To me, and all the people I have met in situations where loved ones were lost, you get a sense of grief and sometimes mental illness. I didn't get mental illness from her. What I got was a poor woman scared out of her mind. I asked her if she wanted me to call anyone for her, and she said that either a family member or a friend was coming to take her away. I can't remember exactly what she said. I asked her to sign our paperwork allowing us to do what we needed to do and asked her if there was anything she didn't want us to dispose of. She said, "You can just burn this place down for all I care." I gathered my crew and we suited up to go inside. We entered the room and it was a smaller bedroom, blue painted walls, a little on the messy side. There was a pool of BLOOD at the foot of the bed, vomit on the bed, and on one side of the bedroom walls, the entire wall was written in BLOOD. We could only make out some words as it almost didn't seem like it was in English. We later found out from a neighbor that the son, who was an adult, had drank ACID and then his own throat and expired sitting on the bed. We cut out the carpet, wrapped the mattress up, and cleaned up the room so that there was no longer any traces of what was left behind. During the time we worked, the old lady took off and we ended up locking up the house. The thing is, we were in the house for a few hours and the feeling inside the house was like that of being in a cave or something. The air was thick. The smell inside the house was sick. More than stale, but pungent and foul. We all felt like we wanted to get out of there in a hurry. The way the old lady was scared to go back inside, the fact that the house took her husband and her 2 sons. I had not been a huge believer in evil lingering inside a place until then. I honestly felt it and I still remember it today. This is the most insane story of convincing someone about the paranormal. Not that the woman was trying to convince this forensic cleaner to even believe in the paranormal. She was so convinced herself and is so convinced herself because of all the things that have happened in that house. Now, sure, we can say that schmuicide, right, is genetic. We can say that depression is genetic. But the odds, the chances, the coincidence that this would all happen in the same house for all 3 of the men in her life is unrealistic. Absolutely unrealistic. I almost wish that the woman would have explained more to OP, the forensic cleaner, of the things they had experienced in that house, because I feel like there is so much more to this story. What really, really breaks my heart is the fact that this woman has not only lost her husband, the love of her life, for all we know, right? Assuming, but also lost her firstborn child, her son, and then her second, her other son. On top of that, to have it had been so brutal of a schmuicide, right? Typically you hear of nooses, you hear of pew-pews, you hear of wrists, okay? There's a lot of different ways. It is not every day that you hear about someone who has the ability to do what this son did in that house. Now, I did get permission from OP to read this story, and unlike my other stories, I did read this one prior to posting it here. This story sat with me. I had nightmares. It is gut-wrenching and heartbreaking and so incredibly sad to think that this woman lost her husband and her sons to whatever is in this house. You let me know your thoughts in the comments, because this is probably the most insane story about the paranormal that I have ever in my life read. Ever. If you've made it to the end of this video, thank you so much. I truly appreciate you more than words can express. If you're new here, my name is Riley, and I read you spooky, scary ghost stories daily for your entertainment. This one, I don't even want to say that it's for entertainment. However, if you are new here, please give me a follow. I do post spooky content daily. Majority of them are true stories that come in from followers and or I find on Reddit, like this one. Please give me a like, a comment, a save, a share. It does super help me if you do all of those things, especially, I guess, from the bottom up. I hear that that's popular. We'll be going live tonight for a little bit longer, just like I did yesterday. I always love spending time with you guys. It's probably my favorite passing time. And then I will also be live Thursday with Kaisa. It's going to be 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and I do not know what time that is in any other place of the world, so I'm sorry. Now, I bid you adieu with this story. Please leave me your comments. I am eagerly awaiting your guys' thoughts on this story. Truly, I really am. And I hope that you have the best day ever. I love you guys so much.